Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We are fully loaded with information warfare weapons. We are over the target, the military-industrial complex owned by the big criminal offshore banks trying to destroy human-free society and on its asses build their world government. We are resisting it big time. Thank you so much for joining us. It is Tuesday, the first day of February 2011. And we're going to be live here for the next 3 hours. Dr. Sherri Tenpenny pops in later in the next hour with an update on flu vaccines and other vaccines and adverse reaction reports all over the world. David Icke, to give us his interesting perspective, joins us in the third hour on what's happening with the global economy, what's going on in the Middle East. In Jordan, the monarchy has replaced the government in reaction to protest. That, again, is a big ally of the West. So there is certainly a real rebellion going on here. And I think what's really happening is the West has got its pre-placed people knowing that there's rebellion against all of these dictatorial regimes. And so that once the rebellion starts, they can then try to channel it into a new puppet, meet the new boss, same as the old boss, similar to the two-party system that we have here. But certainly there's real reasons for people to be revolting, and that is the economic deprivation that's going on, predominantly over dollar devaluation globally, driving up food prices on a planetary scale. So we're going to be discussing all of that today, the latest on what's happening in Egypt. We're also going to get into people like the new governor of California, says that they must raise taxes or California could go the way of what's happening in Egypt. It's actually overtaxation that's hurting California. No one can deny that, and causing people to flee the state like they're fleeing Michigan, New York, and other big tax and spend areas like Illinois. So we're going to be breaking that down today. Also, there's an interesting article here out of the San Diego News today, and its document shows safety concerns slowed fluoridation. And reading this article, basically there is a rebellion going on inside the San Diego government. This is out of the San Diego Union Tribune, their big paper, where their own scientists are saying, don't put this in the water. You know it's toxic. You know it's dangerous. And so there's been an internal fight inside the city, and that's why they're several months late on putting this stuff into the water supply. But because of federal funds greasing the skids, they're going ahead with that. And speaking of health care, obviously, judge rules against health care law yesterday and cites in his 70-plus page paper in the ruling Obama on CNN and other debates, but predominantly a CNN debate where Obama said, hey, we can't make people get health care. You know, can we make people buy houses so they're not going to be homeless? And the judge went on to say, yeah, can you make people eat broccoli? Well, that's what this authoritarianism is. If they can tell you what type of toilet you're going to have, if they can tell you what type of light bulb you're going to have, sounds reasonable, then it's what type of house you can live in, how many children you can have, how much carbon dioxide you can exhale. This is the authoritarian 21st century model of all of this, and so that's coming up as well. Obviously, we have this up at Infowars.com. It's also up on Drudge Report. Chucky Schumer came out a couple days ago and said that there are three branches of government: the House, the Senate, and the executive. Of course, that's two branches of government. He listed the legislative and bifurcated it into two branches of government along with the executive, and ignored the judicial. So we're going to be getting into that clip. Also, the environmentalists, the fake environmentalists, are running around claiming the freezing weather is a response to global warming. But don't worry, you can pay them taxes. Diamond Gusset is proud to announce the anthem of the Patriot movement. They're offering a free CD, T-shirt, and bumper sticker with a qualifying purchase. Diamond Gusset offers great products at great prices while keeping Americans working.
I'm looking for a factory where a man can feed his family. Not worried about them moving it south, closing the doors and shutting her down tomorrow. I'm looking for America.
We're American and be proud. Go to gusset.com/America.
The land of the free and the home of the brave. Seems like I just woke up one day and it was gone, long gone. But I know in my heart it's still
Again, go to gusset.com/America today.
Alex told you the government announced recently that the recession is over. It ended on June of 2009. The millions of Americans unable to find work might not agree. Perhaps the recession ended for the bankers and government employees, but for the rest of us, things seem to be getting worse. Gold and silver haven't heard the news either. They've begun their long-expected journey to the moon. In addition to converting your shrinking dollars into gold and silver, you should consider a food savings account from eFoods Direct. They both make fabulous investments. Food is our greatest dependency, and we know it will be more precious than any financial resource. You and your family need food to survive a crisis, and you can't eat paper, stocks, or metals. Alex has been urging you to invest in delicious, easy-fix meals to enjoy now or save for long-term. This will freeze the cost of your food while you can still afford it. Visit eFoodsDirect.com on the internet or call 800-409-5633. That's eFoodsDirect.com or 800-409-5633.
A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Welcome, my friends. Welcome again. Thank you for joining us. It is the first day of February 2011 on this Tuesday edition. Dr. Sherri Tenpenny will be popping in for about 15, 20 minutes at the start of the next hour to give us an update on some of the vaccine reactions that are happening and the latest on the globalist attempt to establish forced inoculation all across this country, but also worldwide. And the rest of the broadcast will be dealing with news and information. There is a lot of it. First off, I want to get into Obama and the government health care plan. And I want to go back to a video during the debates with Hillary where he said, look, you can't make people buy health insurance, just like you can't make people buy a home so they won't be homeless. And you can't have penalties on people. Well, he went ahead and, of course, later went along with all that. But the federal judge in this latest ruling cited Obama's own statements. And the judge went on to say, you can't make people eat broccoli. I mean, if the government can do this, they can make you eat broccoli. Well, that's the whole point. They are deciding what type of light bulbs we can have, what type of toilets. They're openly saying they want to decide how many kids we can have. This is the nature of a command and control planned society, command and controlled society. Also, they have the Federation of American Scientists, and the woman could hardly say it with a straight face on CNN, saying that the freezing weather we're seeing as a result of global warming and all of the evil carbon dioxide that we're putting into the atmosphere. That's coming up. We have Chucky Schumer not knowing the three branches of government. You know, I tend to think he does know the three branches, but they like to practice ignorance out in front of everyone, basically washing the public's minds in disinformation. It's part of the globalist religion to put out disinfo and to keep the general public in the dark so that we just swim in a sea of disinformation so that we're confused and can't ever wrest control of society away from these bloodthirsty control freaks. So that is all coming up as well. Obviously, we're going to be getting into the Egypt situation, and the one, the only David Icke will be live with us in the last hour of the broadcast today. But first, I wanted to get into some very good news, and this is out of the major newspaper in San Diego. And the San Diego newspaper, the San Diego Union Tribune, has the headline here: documents show safety concerns slowed fluoridation. Now, the headline should be revolt within the city, because as you read deeper into the article, it says that scientists and people working in the health department were concerned about the fact that EPA scientists, FDA scientists have testified in Congress. They admit children are getting way too much fluoride, that it's in the food, that it's used as a pesticide on the different crops, and that we're bioaccumulating it, and that it's very, very toxic, and that the type of fluoride they're putting in the water is toxic. But the article kind of spins it that, well, what's happened here is there were some safety concerns, and so this was supposed to happen a few months ago, but now San Diego, the biggest city in the U.S. to not fluoridate, they're moving to put it in. San Antonio only put fluoride in 6-7 years ago. I mean, the people there aren't stupid. It's taken the government since the 1950s until now to fluoridate 71% of this country. Just a few years ago, it was 68%. And they've got close to 70% in England fluoridated. They've got more than half in Germany fluoridated. And again, it's not because they care about you. It reduces fertility. It causes brain damage. It causes bone cancer. This is not debated. The government admits this, but they hope you don't look into it. But think about how we have these facts, and all we've got to do is continue to present them at city council, present them at county commissioners, present them at the state houses, and turn the power of the grassroots loose against the big chemical company lobbies who would have to store all this toxic waste, but voila, they sell it to you as a health benefit, and now they don't have to store the toxic waste. They can put it directly into your water. And what's so deadly about sodium fluoride, from the medical doctors we've talked to and the endocrinologists and others, is that it's an adjuvant. It accelerates and supercharges all the other toxins and chemicals and free radicals and Grignard reagents that are already in the water that are added along with the sodium fluoride. That's another big hoax. You're told this is pharmacological, pharma grade fluoride, sodium fluoride. No, it's not. And you do need just tiny trace amounts of calcium fluoride. You need tiny trace amounts of lead and mercury. These are way above those tiny, tiny trace amounts, and it's a key compound that bioaccumulates over time in the tissues, in the organs, and the bones. But you can go read this article. Utility officials said the slowdown highlights how the safety system worked, though the document suggests some city leaders were disturbed by the timing of the deferral. San Diego was 3 days away from starting fluoridation in December.